every single time I go to a cocktail party, the conversation openers are the same. Where are you from? How do you know the host? What do you do? And every time I tell people that I'm a marine biologist, people get excited. They tell me that they wanted to be a marine biologist too. And I think that is awesome. And so today, what I want to do is invite you to tap into your inner childhood marine biologist and explore some of the incredible life on this planet with me. And I want you to learn how to protect it for their sake and for ours. And the reason that I want to take this journey together tonight is I need your help. I need your help in building a movement of support for ocean conservation. Even if your job is not a marine biologist today, your job is directly related to the oceans. You are still reliant upon them for your survival, for food, for medicine, for jobs, for most importantly, for air and for climate. In addition, your actions influence the oceans, as much or more so than if you were a marine biologist. Take a look at this watershed map, right? No matter where you live on land, you live in a watershed, and therefore you are connected to the sea, and what you do matters. Like they sort of said in Finding Nemo, all paths literally lead to the ocean. So by the end of this talk, you're going to know how to help. So let's dive in. We call Earth the blue planet, the blue marble, the blue spaceship, because the oceans are 71% of our planet. And even though they are the majority of our planet, only 5% of the ocean floor has been seen by anyone. And only 20% of it has been mapped. Can you imagine what we haven't seen, what we haven't even found? Every time I jump into the ocean, I learn something new. I have been in this profession for over 20 years, and I have maintained a sense of awe and wonder because the ocean is truly that awesome and truly that wondrous. Amazing stuff out there, completely worthy of your childhood hopes and dreams. For example, here's the most mind-blowing thing for me. Do you know that the oldest living coral on our planet is in the deep sea and is estimated to be 4,265 years old? That is the same age as Stonehenge. It predates Confucius, Aristotle, and Alexander the Great by 1,500 years. It is still alive today. But the thing is, this coral, this incredibly long-lived giant that has basically lived through 2/3 of human history, could be destroyed tomorrow. And I promise you, science is amazing, but we don't know how to grow another 4,265-year-old coral overnight. Sorry, I'm about this much fun at cocktail parties too. What can I say? But I am a marine biologist, and I am one who has studied the ocean, and I work on ocean ecosystems, animals, and interactions. But at the same time, I have unabashedly dedicated all the work that we do in service of ocean conservation. I am absolutely in love with these ocean creatures, and I can't let them die on my watch. So to that end, I have been working with large-scale marine protected areas basically since the beginning of the concept. Marine protected areas are like national parks for the ocean. They are places that limit exploitation and extraction in the hopes of protecting biodiversity and ecosystems. I had the honor of being the co-chief scientist for the largest and deepest UNESCO World Heritage Site on our planet. This was a marine protected area that was fully protected, effective, and was a catalyst for all of the subsequent large-scale marine protection that followed. I dedicated my lab and I dedicated my life to this incredibly special place. And just recently, the decision was made to reopen it again for exploitation. The conservation failed. This happened for several reasons, a mixture of COVID and financial need mostly, but the lesson that I learned from this is that protecting our planet is not a foregone conclusion. It's fragile. It's not a guarantee. And yet, it is more important than ever. As Sylvia Earle said, we should protect our oceans as if our lives depend on it, because they do. And so now I have used these lessons to try to think about how we can do this better. How can we protect our oceans at scale? And to that end, I am the lead scientist now of the Blue Nature Alliance, which is a global partnership that has brought together the expertise, capacity, knowledge, and funding to begin taking ocean protection successfully to scale. Our goal is to protect an additional 18 million square kilometers of ocean. To put that in perspective, that is twice the land area of the United States, and it's larger than Russia. It's a really big goal. It took the entire conservation community 30 years to get to where we are today, which, depending on how you slice it, is somewhere between 3 and 8% of the oceans protected. Of that, only a third of marine protected areas are fully implemented and highly protected. We are trying to double this amount of protection. The Blue Nature Alliance is investing in places that are important both to people and to nature, where governments and leaders care, where success will beget more success, which will help get more success, and where collaboration and partnership are possible to leverage these investments. We are working with over 60 governments at various stages of engagement because doing this one at a time and slowly is wonderful, but it's not fast enough. And now we're also starting to work on the high seas, the recently drafted treaty, this historic thing, right, that happened just recently, that for the first time in human history will give us the legal infrastructure to protect the global ocean. We finally have this critical piece of the puzzle in play. Not quite in place, but in play. And that is a huge win. So how do we do this? How do we achieve success and guard against failure? Marine protected areas are one of the absolute best tools we have in the conservation toolbox, but they are most successfully achieved when they are coupled with other strategies that amplify and support them. Things like innovative financing strategies that can work in the sustainable long term. Things like capacity sharing and support from local communities. Things that help to sustain and implement MPAs, that marine protected areas, where we can work to enable a whole host of resources and values. Things like extra education and outreach, and professional development opportunities. All of these create value for local engagement. The Blue Nature Alliance is working to create new protected areas with this kind of sustained support for continued success and to guard against failure. This approach is necessary because protecting the planet isn't a short-term thing, it's not a long-term thing, it has to be a permanent thing. The global community is trying to protect 30% of the world by 2030. But it's 2023, and we still have a long way to go. If the current trends hold, we'll only get to 30% by 2054, and that takes too long. And even if we succeed by 2030, the other 70% of the ocean still needs effective management, which isn't easy or guaranteed. The latest study estimates that 17% of high seas fishing, as it currently stands, is either unauthorized or unregulated. Why do we think that the oceans can sustain themselves without protection? They can't. So here's the question. Can we do this? And can we do it in time? I think we can. I think it's absolutely doable, but it takes everybody, and we all have to work together. And here's how. When I think back to every single major social or political change that I've seen in my lifetime, they have all had 5 key ingredients for success. Number 1, just cause. Check. The oceans create our atmosphere, they sequester our carbon, they provision our fisheries, they drive our climate, which creates our weather, which controls our rainfall, which grows our crops. So yeah, I think we have just cause for protection. Number 2, intense need. Check. In my 45 years on this planet, the human population has doubled. It has gone from 4 billion to 8 billion people, all of whom are using planetary resources at an unprecedented rate. Double in my lifetime. So we need to protect the ocean, not just for the planet, but for ourselves. We need the oceans. We can't double the number of people, keep the planet the same size, and expect that everything will be fine. Smart strategy, check. There is incredible talent behind the scenes of every environmental organization in every sector of planetary protection. We know what to do, we know how to do it, and it doesn't even cost that much money. The sum total of private philanthropy for ocean conservation annually costs about the same amount of money as a Marvel movie. We can do this. 4, awareness of the problem. And this is where things start to fall apart. The ocean from the surface looks fine, beautiful even. And if you snorkel or dive and you look underwater, there is still so much beauty to be seen. One of the biggest problems the ocean has is its invisibility. Space gets a lot of attention because everyone can see the stars. But the ocean, this cartoon person at the surface, has no idea how much beauty there is right below them or how much intense suffering there is. And that is a problem. A groundswell of support. Number 5. Urgent demand that enables politicians the political cover they need to make real change. And here is where we need you. If you are a politician, you have the power to create change and prioritize the oceans right now. And if you're not a politician, you have the power to create the buzz that politicians need in order to justify prioritizing the oceans right now. And it's this buzz where you can make the largest contribution. So here's what I need. I need you to get in this fight. It's really that simple. I think about all of the changes that we as a global community have been able to enact in my lifetime, and it's amazing. When I was a kid, there was justified panic about the ozone layer, right? Remember this? It's that thin part of the atmosphere that we need. It protects us from UV radiation, from increased sunburn, from skin cancer. We fought. We won. We banned chlorofluorocarbons. And now, the ozone layer is healing. It's not healed. It's actually going to take about until the end of this century to see a recovery back to 1970s levels. But it's healing, and that's a huge success. You may have visited a town recently that has a plastic bag ban or that has banned plastic straws. These are things that we have accomplished very recently. Your tweets, your TikTok videos, your Facebook posts, your strongly worded letters, your conversations make a huge difference. And the most important thing that they do is they inspire conversation, right? Talk, prolonged attention to the topic, which helps keep the pressure on. Yeah, what you say at that cocktail party really matters. And in addition, you vote with your dollar. We all pay for goods and services, and where we spend our money makes a really big statement. Whether it's protests, social media, donating to causes, exercising your right to vote, there's a lot that we can do when we act together. And just like the smartphone revolution, we can never go back to the world as it once was. We should demand a healthy planet. We should never tolerate the mess that we're in, and we should never tolerate it again. You loved the oceans as a child. Even if you've never seen the ocean with your own eyes, you have fallen in love with a dolphin, a whale, a penguin, a crab, or if you're me, a deep-sea coral. And now they all need your help. We can't do our job as ocean scientists and conservationists to protect them without you. I promise that whatever it is you care about, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education, finance, anything, it will all ultimately fail without a healthy planet, which requires a healthy ocean. So on behalf of all ocean life, I am standing here asking you to remember your childhood and tap into your inner marine biologist, to pick the ocean creature of your dreams and start demanding more on their behalf. And if you won't do it for them, do it for you or for your kids, because your health, food, and air depend on planetary success, which depends on ocean success. You need the ocean. The ocean needs you. And I'm not going to let that 4,265-year-old coral die on my watch. So now you have tapped back into your inner childhood marine biologist, and so let me give you a suggestion for the next time you're at a cocktail party. How do you know the host? Where are you from? And can you believe the state of our oceans? We need to do something about this. So here's the marine protected area I've been working on. What's your plan? And the answer to that question is the idea worth spreading. Thank you very much.